we're gonna head out to some remote tracks. We're just gonna sort of bounce from a couple of different tracks out in the desert. We stayed last night on the side of the Great Central Road. We just had a fire and sort of relaxed for the night, and then we're gonna head off onto some remote tracks today. The road's getting pretty tight here where we've come this morning. I'm just going to add some shade cloth over the front here because the middle of the road's getting quite high with all these seeds, grass seeds, so I'm just going to protect the radiator a bit and cable tie this on. So I've put that on there. It's not the neatest job, but just quickly to get it done, and then obviously this will restrict the flow a little bit for the radiator, but if we go slow it should be fine, and I've got a scan gauge that's monitoring all the temps, so I should be able to tell if it's getting too hot. So yeah, but that'll definitely help for up further because it's getting quite high. We're on the track, slowly getting there, only going about 20 k's average per hour, so yeah, some parts are a bit quicker and then some parts are slower. We've got these real high grass seats here, so yeah, it's just really does help to put this on front. You can see a few things have been stuck to it already, but yeah, hopefully that does help. This is the track, you can see it a bit here, but yeah, further up it is quite overgrown, so yeah, it's obviously had a bit of rain here, but all these grass seeds, they literally, as you drive over them, all them, they just come straight off and into your radiator. So not ideal. Look how easy that just peels straight off. And once they go in, they don't really come out. So yeah, prefer not to have them in, but got the trailer and the ute still going alright. Also got to be careful about the grass fires. We do have a heap of fire extinguishers around, but yeah, hopefully we don't have to use them. Good old Spinifex. So we'll come up to a roadblock. Not ideal. I could potentially just go around, but I'm going to try and cut this. It shouldn't be too hard. Got that recip. Yeah, there's the ute there. And then pretty much got to try and clear a decent path. It's been quite tight quarters so far. Yeah, see, the recip's not too bad. Like, obviously struggles on some big stuff, but yeah, it's actually goes pretty good. This wood wasn't too hard, so yeah, went through it pretty easy. Only gets jammed a bit when the wood obviously closes back on the blade, and then the blade can't actually move back and forth, but yeah, worked out fine. As you can see, it's quite dark here, so we've left the run pretty late to find camp, but there's one spot or a couple of spots just want to get past, and then we'll get camp from there. So the problem now is I can't see the trailer behind me, but I do have this which got wired up by Elliot from Wire Guy, so it's real beauty about it is just so I can see the trailer. If you want to turn that light on, so you can see that trailer while I'm driving, and I can just keep an eye on it, so especially if I'm bikes or something, it's quite corrugated, but especially if I have kayaks or something, or just when it's dark like now, is I can still monitor the trailer and see if it's still tracking nice behind me. So yeah, that's one of the beauties about this camera setup that I've got. So yeah, thank you, Elliot. You can see how many grass seeds this has actually caught. It wasn't too bad in the radiator, but there's a little bit underneath that I think this sort of flicked up. So I might try and tie this down. But yeah, it's caught quite a few, and the radiator's actually looking pretty good compared to how many tall long grass we've been through. So I'm underneath the car trying to see how it's all looking, and there's a lot of grass caught up under here. So yeah, definitely worthwhile having a look. So you see how much is stuck here. That could definitely catch on fire while we're going. Sharp. So the main thing you got to be careful about is around this exhaust. This exhaust will be the hottest part of your vehicle. So yeah, pretty much just try and clean everything from there. I got a heap out of here, which is just under this drive shaft. But yeah, besides that, it's looking all good. And everything is looking not too bad. We're on our way to see some caves out here, and we've come across another big tree on the road, so it's just fallen out of the ground. So I'll sort of potentially try to look at going around it, but I'll try and cut it again. Just rip straight out of the ground. So yeah, it's going to be quite a test for the recip saw. That blade here is 12-inch, I think, and yeah, it's quite pretty much the full size, so I'm going to see how it actually goes. Well, we'd actually cut through that. It took a little bit of time, but yeah, actually didn't go too bad. This wood isn't super dense. I actually did get through, so I've just got to try and get rid of all this now, which is yeah, going to be a little bit of work as well in itself. Then I can try and just drag it out. Can't see too much down here. There's a little bit of water. Smells pretty good. But yeah, there's a lot of little holes where you could end up going down. A lot of bird feathers and that. They probably get their water from here, whereas everything else wouldn't be able to get out. That goes a long way. It's quite corrugated, but not too bad. This road's a lot nicer, not so many trees. It's quite open, so yeah, we went to the cave, had a look at that, and then made our way back. But yeah, we'll just keep driving down this track, but we're going a lot faster than we were for the majority of the day yesterday, and we're not driving over any trees, so that's a win again. no one's been on this track for a while, but you can see a lot of camel footprints all through here and other bits and pieces. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they use these quite common. All these tracks will show that as well. But yeah, it's a lot easier to walk on the road than it is to walk through all that thick scrub. So yeah, there's a lot of prints. There's some smaller ones there of, I guess, a young one, and then there's some other ones you can't really see, but they're of probably dog footprints. And yeah, there's just heaps of camel footprints all around. We've pulled up, it's about 3:30, so a little bit earlier today. Well, definitely earlier than yesterday, so we're not driving in the dark. Yeah, we just put up the rooftop, sort of in a group of desert oaks, and we were going to have a fire, but everywhere around's still quite dry, so we won't have a fire tonight. So yeah, we'll be able to relax a little bit and then continue on tomorrow. So good. I love all these flies. Whew. The sun is just going down. I'm just going to do a quick rundown of the setup. So pretty basic. Obviously we got the gas cooker and the table there. They sit up in this section here. We've got this travel buddy oven, which has been perfect. We've just been putting in a few things along the way, and if we're having a late night on the road, then we can just put something in and grab it before we go to sleep. Then all this side's just our pantry. So this here is just plywood that I've glued down and screwed to the top of these plastic boxes, and then another bit of plywood on the bottom, and then I've glued and screwed these sections together. So yeah, pretty much we've got our sort of our larger stuff. Got our washing up container down here with all gas leads, some welding gloves and some plates and that. So the welding gloves are for campfire. And then down here we've just got pantry, so pretty much just your wraps and wheat bix, bits and pieces like bread and that's all in there. This is our pots, pans, or a pot and pan, some soap and some other gas cooking stuff, some cleaning spray, some oil and dishwashing liquid. Pretty basic. This here is also another pantry drawer, and then our last final bit of pantry drawer here is over here. So yeah, coffee, some more of this seasoning, and then this is our table here. That's easy to pull out. Be able to modify this top section. This is the XTM drawer and the kitchen. We end up taking off the top part of the fridge slide, got rid of the fridge slide, and then use this top table as the new fridge slide, and we just glued these tie down points here so we could get more height. Otherwise we thought, well, when the table was out and we still wanted to get into the fridge, we'd have to move the fridge right out here, and everything that was on this bench would get pushed out of the way. So now that won't happen because this comes out and then this is always attached to it, so that stays there, and then we pretty much have a lot more height here to be able to get into the fridge. And that is just a little hook that sit up there, so then we got this hands free, that's pretty much this side. Now that's what it looks like with the gas cooker and the table. So the table just sits on top of the gas cooker like so, and then yeah, that's all sturdy in there. They just held on with these bungee cords and they don't move at all. We're off and going again this morning. We stopped at a perfect time last night as we've just come out of those desert oaks, and it is pretty open. There's just a lot of shrubs, so there wouldn't be really anywhere to pull off on the side. So yeah, pretty much take what we could get, and yeah, worked out well. On this track this morning, there's a lot of low-lying spots where this would have been super wet not too long ago, and then you've got a lot of these marks which now I'm pretty sure they're from camels, either they've been lying or doing bits and pieces down here, and then you got other marks from wild dogs and that. So you got these prints here which are just from other dogs, but pretty sure this here is camels. Now this has gone rock hard, well this is quite hard, whereas yeah, this obviously was pretty much a clay pan and would have been near on impossible to get through, because you can just see how much indented all this is. So this goes for a fair way. There's another section just up further where it is the exact same. So you can see camel slipped here, big slip mark from where it was real wet. There are a lot of these on the track. These here are termite mounds, so termites are what eat your wood and pretty much you got to protect your house from. So yeah, there's a lot of these. It's pretty much just clay, like that's pretty solid, and yeah, you just want to be careful of running into them while on the track. They will do some underneath damage if you don't have any guarding, and then especially with the trailer, I'm not sure how low that axle is, but the axle could get cleaned up like this, so we've been trying to avoid them at all costs. Found one camel, it's only one. Just get off the road. Some camels. Couple there. Just finished that track. It was a great track. I'm just going to pump up my tyres now. Yeah, well worth doing. If you like this remote stuff, just be well prepared, but well worth doing.